Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Tori. I'm a licensed therapist. I was also on season 42 of Survivor, and what I'm going to go over today is one of the most commonly asked questions I get, and it is either, how did you prepare for Survivor, or, hey, I'm interested in being on Survivor one day. What can I do to prepare? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get this bad boy out again. This, if you haven't seen my previous videos, this is my beloved, my coveted Survivor journal. This has like all of my Survivor memories, training, everything is in here. So I'm gonna open it up, and I'm gonna open it up to the section where I documented a lot of my preparation for Survivor. And honestly, I would just recommend like do what I did I know I didn't win Survivor, but I think I trained and tried as hard as I could to prepare myself for the game of Survivor. Of course, you can't prepare for like the crazy twists or who the other people on the island are, but for the different elements of the game, I feel like I went in really well prepared, which I'm an Enneagram 3, if anyone can relate to that. A super overachiever, that's me. But honestly, yeah, like take notes, do these same things. So let's open her up. The first thing that I have here is I wrote down all of the past Survivor players who are similar to me, and I identified why they got voted out. So there's a whole list. There's even more. Well, no, okay, we'll get there. So I had noted that these players, they were all young, they were female, they were somewhat attractive, physically strong, and charming / sweet. So some of the people that maybe you would have heard of, so Angelina, oh, that did not age well. If you know the tea, like that's hilarious. Angelina, Amanda Kimmel, Andrea Belke, Kim Spradlin, Allison from David vs. Goliath, Lauren from Edge of Extinction, Figgy, Brenda, Candace, Michelle, Fitzgerald, Morgan, Chelsea, like all the people you can think of. That's who I wrote down. And then I identified the people who were similar to me that won. And that was Michelle Fitzgerald, Natalie Anderson, Kim Spradlin, and Danny Boatwright. And I figured out how did they win, and I wanted to try to adopt some of their strategy. So then I have this whole section on random facts and stacks about Survivor. And I did that because if you remember, there's been challenges in the past where Jeff asked them trivia questions about Survivor. And also I wanted to know these facts to feel so prepared that I'm going into this once in a lifetime opportunity. I mean, you could get called back to do it maybe once more. It's very rarely though that you get to play Survivor more than once. So I was really viewing this as a once in a lifetime opportunity that I was going to go above and beyond. Like, I don't really think you can be over prepared for something, or like an overthinker. The only time over preparing or overthinking is bad is if it stunts you. Like if you think so much to the point that you don't move forward. That never happened to me. So I was gonna be extra. I was gonna go all out because I knew I had one chance to play Survivor, and for $1 million. And if you know any of my story, it is that I so badly wanted to be on Survivor for so many years. I actively applied for 6 years straight before I ever got on the show. So of course, when that opportunity came and knocking at my door, I was gonna do anything and everything I could to win. Then what I did is I went, if you can kind of see this, all of the Survivor word scrambles that they did in challenges, I wrote down all of the letters. So I would watch the challenges, but before they solved it, and I would just write down the various letters. So like O-C-E-T-S-T-E-E-F, blah, blah, blah. And then whenever I was in quarantine is I went through and I tried to unscramble all of the word puzzles. So one example is the sweet taste of victory. Another is family comes first. Another is reinventing how this game is played. Somebody loses their flame tonight. And I just went through to unscramble all of them to see any similarities between the word scrambles, because I knew that was gonna happen, and I didn't want my mental fatigue when it came to a word scramble to prevent me from winning a challenge. And so I was like, let's take note of all the words they used in the past to see if there's any themes that come up. There were some that I did not solve. I never had to do a word unscrambler though on 42, so we're good. Okay, and then what I did here, I came up with the merge tribe name that I wanted. Of course, that did not happen. No one even asked me if I wanted to name the tribe. No one was even talking to me at that point in the merge because my character was assassinated. But I had come up with, and this is, I don't know if this is like cool or lame, it would be Gauna Tabu. It stands for Holy Spirit. But yeah, that obviously didn't happen. I think we were Kula Kula, which is some type of bird. Omer named it. That was cool. Okay, and then I took notes about Fiji. So as of season, I think like 35, Survivor has continually gone back to Fiji. So it's probably smart to deduce that if you're gonna play Survivor, you're gonna play in Fiji. So I wanted to know the most I could about the climate, the temperature, the wildlife, the vegetation, sunrise, sunset in Fiji, because I knew that's where we were going. And so I prepared like, oh, what time does the sun rise? Different edible plants. I need to find it somewhere. I printed out a whole list of the edible plants and wildlife. That's how I figured out Nua seaweed, which is the tiny seaweed that looks like grapes. I knew that that was edible, and seaweed there's a plethora of it on the island. It just goes up on the shore. So I was like, shoot, I'm gonna eat that. That's also how I knew what taro looks like. So taro is essentially like a potato plant. So it's underground, but I learned to identify the leaves, which was a whole freaking debacle that almost got me voted out in the first episode of Survivor. Oh my gosh, that's traumatic. Drama trigger, Survivor trigger. But that's how I was able to feed our tribe. Like, I did find taro, okay? I want y'all to know that. I did find taro. I didn't find an idol. I did find taro. And then I wrote different psychological principles. So like the reticular activating system helps your brain, is a system in your brain that helps weed out information. Nora actually used this on her season of Survivor, where she was saying over and over, blue, 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 when looking for the hidden immunity idol on her tribe. Because if you're reminding your brain, hey, think of blue, your brain is more predisposed to pick out blue in your environment. It's kind of like how you can live next to a train, and if someone just came and visited you, like probably every night they would hear that train whistle and they wouldn't be able to sleep. But your brain has processed that out because it realized it's not pertinent information that you need to keep at the forefront of your mind. So there's that. And then I did a lot on the psychology of first impressions. Fun fact, a negative first impression is extremely, extremely hard to, oh my gosh, wait, as I'm saying that, it's literally, that's what happened to me in the game. I had such a bad first impression, and I was never able to outlive it until I got on Ponderosa and people realized I was actually a nice human being. Shocker. And then I figured out what are the behaviors that are seen as a positive first impression. So for example, someone who has physical beauty, if they dress smart, if they appear smart, if they make more eye contact with someone, if they speak faster, and if they have an easy gait. So the things that can mean for someone is that you are healthy, successful, influential, intelligent, more competent, and extroverted. So those are all things I tried to relay with my tribe. Didn't really work, but you know, that's okay. Okay, and then here I have, this is David Bloomberg's 7 Rules of Survivor. Now, he has talked a lot of smack about me online. It's like just kind of annoying about my own personal views, has nothing to do with me in the game. But I'll give credit where credit's due. I did listen to his Rules of Survivor. Number 1, scheme and plot. But don't scheme and plot too much. Keep your scheming secret. Don't backstab until you absolutely need to. 3rd rule is to be flexible. 4th rule, don't let your emotions control you. Oops, should have read that again. Number 5, pretend to be nice. Don't be lazy. Play the social game. Don't show bad habits. Act like an adult. Number 6, don't be too much of a threat. And number 7, trust almost nobody. So those were his Rules of Survivor that I tried to live by. And then I also went into game theory. So if you want to get like really deep into Survivor and stuff, you can look up game theory and backwards induction, zero sum, Nash equilibrium. Did I ever fully understand those things? I don't know. Maybe then I would have won Survivor. Who knows? I really had this mindset that I was training for Survivor. I was training to be the next sole survivor. I wasn't just trying to be on Survivor. No, I was training with a specific goal in mind, and that was to dominate. What did I say in my little intro? Like,
I did not come here to be this nice, pretty girl who is boring and does nothing. Like, I came to strategize, came to play, cut throats, crush dreams, win that, okay?
What I did focus on is every single day leading up to Survivor, I did one thing. One thing every single day, training to be on Survivor. So that could have been solving puzzles, word unscramblers, swimming laps at the pool, working on my grip strength, watching an episode of Survivor to study, practicing fire. Like, I learned how to make a bow drill. Hey guys, so today I am practicing making a bow drill to start a fire. Clearly it is very cold right now, and that is not going to be the case when I am on the beach in Fiji making this. So first thing we're going to do, I have this to make my drill. You want it to be about the width of, like, you know, if you do hang 10, about the size of hang 10, and as you can tell, this one is pretty long. So I'm gonna cut it down and then shave it off. Other specific skills I was trying to hone before going to Survivor were things like balance, which, oh, didn't that off. Remember that time I beat Jonathan head to head at the boot? Yeah. That definitely paid off. So balance, because I knew that was going to come up in challenges. Also aiming, because whenever I was going through Survivor finals, they had this little mini challenge kind of set up just to assess our physical abilities. And you took these just balls, and then there were these small wood cubes stacked in a pyramid on the opposite end of the room, and you had to throw to knock them down. I mean, I got most of them down, but I remember I was like, I want to feel more confident about my aiming when I go into Survivor. And that kind of motivated me and was the foundation behind everything I did, was that I did not want to go into Survivor. I didn't want to get to Fiji and then start doubting myself. No, I wanted to be like, when I stood on that little beam holding the buoy, to be like, Tori, you have practiced this. You know what it takes to balance. Or when it came to like grip strength and holding on, being like, do you remember all those minutes and seconds and probably hours you accumulated hanging on a bar? Your grip strength is good. You don't need to worry. And so I just really wanted to have that piece of saying, I did everything I could to prepare to win Survivor. So now I just got to do what I've already been doing. I didn't want to leave it up to chance. There's enough chance and luck involved in Survivor. I wanted to mitigate that risk. And then I also did a lot of like listening to podcasts, especially when it was in quarantine, because they have so many podcasts on like why blank won, why blank lost. And they literally go over people's games. They analyze it, different podcasters, that's why I say they, to figure out what worked in Survivor, what didn't work. You know, the deep dives that Rob Has a Podcast does. Like you get a lot of insight, so much more than just watching on the screen. And so I dove headfirst into preparing for Survivor. I knew, I'm gonna be honest, I did know it was a very slim chance that someone like me would win. Like I get that I'm super extroverted. I know I come across as intimidating. I know I don't have the most positive first impression. People, you know, they'll meet me and be like, oh, I thought you were gonna be like a mean girl or stuck up. But then I got to know you and you're actually weird and nice. And I'm like, yeah. So that's just something I've always had to kind of deal with. Oh, that sounds like first world problems. Like, because I'm kind of cute, people don't like me at first. But I just knew going into Survivor, there's a lot of barriers against me. And I knew I wanted to friggin' dominate at individual immunities. I've said it time and time again that I went into Survivor wanting to be the first woman. I wanted to break the record as the first woman to win 5 individual immunity challenges. Because as of today, I mean, who knows? Maybe someone in 44, because that already has been filmed, maybe they got 5 individual. But the most a female has ever gotten is 4 individual immunities in a season. And so I wasn't about to like string away from the challenges to decrease my threat level. No, I wanted to win as much as I could. I really just had this idea. I wanted to go into Survivor, make a splash, play hard, experience everything, and just get as far as I could. And like I said, that might be kind of like negative, that I went in knowing I might not win, but I just knew there was so much luck involved. And like, what are you gonna do when you bring 18 people from around the world who don't really have many things in common? Like, it's so unknown, but I was prepared for it at the most I could be. And so if it is your dream to be on Survivor, of course, prepare. Say that 5 times fast. Train, don't just try, but train. And then most importantly, number 1, you have to audition. Like, I can't tell you how many people are like, oh, I want to be on Survivor so bad. I'm like, awesome, how many times have you applied? They said none. That is not acceptable. That is not acceptable. You will never make it on. That's the only way to guarantee you will never have your dream come true of being in Fiji, hearing Jeff say, you gotta dig deep, putting the necklace around your neck. Like, that's the only way to guarantee you'll never be on Survivor, is if you don't step out and try. I did it for 6 years. It took a lot of tireless efforts and humility and encouraging myself and just being rooted in my dream. And I got to experience my dream. Someone said the closest thing to winning Survivor is playing it and losing. No, that doesn't sound as good as I heard it. But essentially, like, I still gotta play Survivor. It's a dream come true. So you better be auditioning. I'm talking to you. You better be auditioning. You better be training. Even before, I was training before I ever got the call, okay? Like, I had this in mind. That's how much I was dedicated to this. And I mean, hey, manifestation, prayer, that stuff works, okay? So do it. I believe in you. If I can do it, literally anyone can. I am just a huge super fan. Like all of y'all, I just really never give up. I refuse to give up. So if you share that same quality, then I might see you on my screen one day. I hope this video was helpful and entertaining, and make sure to subscribe because I will be doing more Make sure to subscribe because I will be doing more deep dives into my Survivor experience to keep the dream alive. Because sometimes I have to pinch myself, like, that actually happened. Like, this is actually my merch buff. Roxroy didn't take it away from me. Make sure to subscribe, have a great day, and pursue your dreams with an unrelenting passion. See ya.